Bioinformatics.
Okay, in this video, I want to show you how to get your server set up for the very first time. You'll only have to do this once unless you break something and have to make a new server and start over from scratch. So, assuming you already know how to log into your server, which if you don't, go back and watch the video that either pertains to Mac or Windows login procedures. Remember, you have to right-click on your server within the ec2 instance section and go instance date and start. Mine is already started, which is why it's green and running. Depending on what method you're using for logging in, you may vary from what I'm showing you right this second, but I'm going to go ahead and log in like we would on a Mac using SSH-I, my permissions key, ubuntu and the DNS. Okay, so I'm logged into a fresh server. I just made this server. What do I do to get it set up with some of the basic tools that we'll be using throughout the semester? One of the things I like to get installed right away is Conda. This is a nice application for using Python as well as installing lots of packages that we'll be using throughout the semester. Also along with kind of getting some other things set up in our bash profile and other areas that I'm not going to overwhelm you with right now and we'll talk about later this semester. So to do this, I actually have a really simple GitHub page set up that houses a few scripts to help get your computer set up and running. You can type in github.com/cvisger/bio224 or click the link below and scroll down to the bottom, and it's just 3 lines of code. Now, I don't want you to just go through these blindly. Again, we're learning via immersion, so let's talk about what these 3 lines are doing as it sets up. So the first thing I want you to do is use a command called wget and then a URL to a script that I'm actually having hosted here within the GitHub itself. Wget is basically just a way of downloading something from a specific URL. So I'm going to copy and paste this and execute it. So I just pasted it in, executed it. You can see that we got this AWS setup light _p1.sh. .sh is common ending or extension for files that are shell scripts. So this is a bunch of shell commands within a file that are going to be executed in a row, something that you'll learn how to make yourself moving forward. Now that we have that file, we need to make it executable. By default, when you download scripts, they're not able to be executed as a program because that would be really easy for malicious software to take advantage of you. So you have to explicitly tell your server that you want that file to be executable. And so we're going to change or modify the permissions using the command chmod. And we're going to add executable to it, so +x. And here you don't see the whole file name because I'm trying to show you that there's some easier ways to do things. So we want to do chmod +x on this AWS setup file that we just downloaded. And so what we're going to do is we are going to say chmod. Now you could cut and paste this if you wanted, but it's better to type things as you go. You'll start to learn them a little better. Plus little x, and then we want to navigate to that file. And so you could type AWS _setup, etc. But what happens if you put a typo in? So here I intentionally put in a typo and went .sh and I hit enter, and you're just going to get this very unhelpful, can't access this file, it doesn't exist. A really great thing about shell is either the use of wildcards or the use of the tab key, and I'm going to show you both. So if we go chmod +x, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember the whole file name. It started with AWS. So I'll type AWS, and then I can hit tab. And if there's no other options of other AWS named files in that directory, it will just autofill it for you. If there's more than one, you hit it twice, and it'll show you a list of things that match that pattern. So you could modify it using that way. Or you could do what I have in the cut and paste version, is you can use the asterisk, which is a wildcard. It's saying this file name must start with AWS, but the asterisk is any other characters after that for 0 or infinity. So that also matches that pattern. Notice the only thing that's really happening is we're not getting an error and we're getting kicked back to the command prompt, which is good news. No news is good news often in this kind of situation. All right, so all that's left to do is actually execute this thing. The common way to execute scripts is to do a // in front of it if you're in the same directory as it. And again, we'll talk more about why that works moving forward. But so we just want to do // and then the file name. So /AWS, and I could do either an asterisk, I could type it all the way out, or I could just hit tab and go ahead and hit enter. Now this is going to take a little bit, so I'm going to pause the recording until I actually have to make decisions about yes or no and pressing enter. Okay, we're back, and what it says here, the first time this installation pauses, it's saying you need to review the license agreement, something I've never done. So all you have to do is press enter, and you can press enter all the way through this and read this thing to your heart's content, or you could press Q to end it, and it's going to ask you whether you accept it or not, and you need to type yes or no and then hit enter. So I typed yes. Then it asks where you want to install it. Press enter to confirm the default location. And now it's going to start to install again. Okay, and it's done installing, and it wants us to initialize it, and so we need to say yes. And we're all done. Now the most important thing here is we want to exit all the way out of our server. So we're going to go ahead and close this and reopen it. Okay, so I've exited out and I have a new terminal open. If you're on Mac, all you have to do is hit up and you can execute the last command. And so we'll sign back on. And what we want to do is see if Conda was successfully installed as part of many other things. And so let's just type Conda and see what happens. As long as you're seeing all of this, that Conda's kicking back some things like, hey, I'm here, but you didn't give me all the info I wanted to actually do anything, that's fine. That means that it's installed. And as far as this video is concerned, you've finished everything and you're ready to actually start doing stuff with your server. So I'll see you when we do the first lab. Thanks.